if you stick to the grind and you have set goals and you work for yourself, it is hard, but at the end of the day, I think it's worth it because, if you have that passion, it takes you a long way. Making it, I think, is really just about, being able to do what you love every day.
Our guest today is a musician, composer, and producer hailing from Buffalo, New York. His first full-length album, Faith, made it to the iTunes Top Instrumental Music Albums chart in its release year. In 2017, he produced his second album, California Rush, that featured vocals, guitar, saxophone, jam band, and electronic dance elements to present a fresh take on live electronica. In 2020, he released his latest album, Driftin', and completed his first headlining tour. In 2021, he completed a 10-city tour across the East Coast in the USA. He has totaled over 340,000 streams and over 250,000 listeners in 98 countries across the globe. Welcome to the show, the multi-talented Edalo.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Hey, we've been wanting to do this for a long time. At least I know I have. I've been watching you from afar, studying your moves, your swiftness, and the beautiful soundscapes that you create, man. The layers and
Thank you so much.
Layers of your music.
I really appreciate that awesome introduction too.
Hey, I had to do you justice. If someone's tuning in right now, they're not familiar with you. Hey, that's cool. But check out Edalo. You can do that. All the links are clickable in the show notes. So your website and your social media, all the places that people can find you on the interwebs. It's all there, clickable, so everybody can tune in, make it super easy. The website is Edalo Music. It's EDALO music.com. I know you have an Instagram page, a YouTube page, so guys, check him out. And here's what I'd like to do. We're going to kick into this thing. Everything that I studied about you, it connects you back to a collaborator. Is that by design? It's like you've collaborated with so many incredible people. Is that something you're mindful of?
Honestly, I think it's just being involved with, the friends and family that I have, because collaborating with people has always been something that has just people have been like, hey, you should collab more. You should get out of your shell. You should do this. You should do that. But there's a fine line between being told what to do and wanting to do things yourself. So, I've always just wanted to find like-minded people. So I think, working with collaborations and more people, it only makes you better. That was my mindset on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible, though. I think that is a beautiful thing. Like, you obviously can shine as a solo artist as well. But, I mean, you have, like, one of your early career highlights that's really cool is the track Mariposa. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, Mariposa. Yeah, with Robby, Takac, and Kenny Hawkins, and Jerry Livingston. Honestly, that first experience for me was the music business 101. I had an investor at the time who kind of pulled out during the project, and I was kind of left to figure out what, I should do. And one song came out of it, which was incredible, that I still have in my computer. And, it was a blessing, honestly, to be able to be so young and work with such amazing people.
Yeah. The three people you named, I mean, they've worked with like acts like Snoop Dogg and Rick James and Mary J, right? I mean, so.
Yeah, rest in peace to Jerry Livingston. He just passed. Just being able to learn from the cats in your area really, I think, give you the extra step that maybe people in other states, Buffalo is a growing, one of the best, if you're a musician, you should live in Buffalo. You should, live here. You shouldn't want to make a name anywhere else, because I think there's so much passion and love in the area that can really help your music and help you to be better as an individual, even.
That's really well said. I don't know if you knew this, but not that many moons ago, but I was in a rock and roll band, many different
Oh,
rock and roll
okay.
bands in Buffalo. And it was always about, getting our music out to as many people as possible. So essentially that would be quote unquote making it. And there always was this kind of like mentality of getting out of Buffalo because not too many people made it here. You mentioned Robby Takac of the Goo Goo Dolls. He's, that's one band that is from Buffalo that most people nationally and even
Oh, yeah.
internationally are going to recognize for sure. But there's not too many of them. So it's kind of like, do you go to the big C out there in LA or New York and try to be a
Right.
big fish there? It's a lot more difficult. Or do you stick to your roots, love creating the music that you designed and like have way more creative control in your situation, right? And get to really be the musician that you want. I mean, it's a balance. It's I think just like in business, it's all about identifying what you really want and then kind
Exactly.
of reverse engineering how you get there. If you want create like full creative control and you're not looking for however you define fame, that big
Right.
word, then I think you can be incredibly happy as a musician in Buffalo. And I could see that you're doing that. And the internet, it doesn't matter where you're from. I mean, you're on
Yeah.
Spotify. Like
I
people are
mean,
tuning into you in 98 countries. Who cares
right.
that it started in one particular city? It doesn't identify you.
Right, man. I definitely did the whole move out to LA bit, and I lived in Pasadena and the Simi Valley and Santa Monica. Like I, definitely did the whole, travel outside of your hometown to get the experiences that you need. And, that definitely helped me to want to come back to Buffalo and to have my own studio and to just fill in the void in other studios. I like being the person where I can go to any studio and walk into that studio and be like, okay, um, what do you guys need? Just kind of trying to fill the void in people's projects because I've realized that, a lot of people need a lot of different things. And under the cap of music, you can do a lot. My family and doesn't really quite understand the cap of doing music. They're like, oh, he just sits in his studio and room for X amount of hours in a day, and it's just making it. I think is really just about being able to do what you love every day. I think that you know yeah, making millions of dollars is great, and being on big record labels is fantastic. And for me, I just kind of took the DIY route that has gotten me further in my learning experiences to just be like a better, well-rounded human being. Because I realized that if I was gonna do music full time, that I just needed to be better at everything.
hmm If you guys are watching this on YouTube, you probably want like seeing me getting geeked up as Edalo is saying this because I agree with you like 1,000,000%. I mean, that is really well said. It's all about what it means for you as the artist, and then you're able to you're successful. Like
Right.
fame doesn't mean that everybody who's like invited to the Grammys. That's not the only group of talented artists, musicians in the world. Like everybody knows that. And here's the thing that I love, and part of the reason I wanted you on is because you are extremely talented and you are
Thank
as
you.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you are there not that long from now. So I
Oh
kind of got you
man,
when you're on the
thanks,
up
man.
right now. So
Thank you, Mike.
I snuck you on mic'd up before, I'm warming you up for, late night with Jimmy Fallon. So let's
Oh
do
man,
this.
hey, I'm just getting comfortable. Giving me some confidence.
Yeah,
No,
man.
but I really
For sure.
appreciate it. When you work with so many high, you know, celebrity type, you realize that they're just people at the end of the day. And at, for me, it just comes down to making great music.
hmm
I really don't like to stick in a box. People are always telling me what to do and who to become, and I'm just, just trying to be myself, man. And I do that more and more through, content and socials and music. So I just try and I'm not a fat cat. I don't, uh, you know, fake anything. What you see on my Instagram is what you see on my Instagram. I'm not spending thousands of dollars in something, in Maseratis, and I'm not driving around and,
Yeah.
I paid off my car. I paid off my thing. I work hard.
Yeah.
I like to just stick to the grind. And, if you stick to the grind and you have set goals and you work for yourself, it is hard, but at the end of the day, I think it's worth it because, if you have that passion, it takes you a long way.
So many great mic drop moments in there from Edalo, like that whole last 5-10 minutes, guys. Go back and check that out. Really, really well said. And that is why I wanted you on the show, because in every way that you could describe the word successful, you already are that, but you're also true to your roots and you love collaborating because you're all about sharing and experiencing. And I love that you do it all yourself in studio. I mean, your latest album, I believe, you produced the entire thing, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
My next album is in the works right now, and I'm actually kind of taking it one step further. I'm usually the guy to sit in the background and to run the boards and, all right, we're going to take that one step back, didn't really. And I'm just kind of taking it one step further in the sense where I'm singing on every single song and I'm mixing and mastering every single song. So it's like, I'm not like a professional singer, like at all. Like I was never trained. I just realized that, if I'm going to perform live, that I need to be multi-instrumentalist. So I need to sing, I need to play keys, I need to play drums. So that's kind of how I incorporate my live performances into like my albums and my releases. So I'll have it kind of go hand in hand with each other. So what you see live is what you hear on Spotify.
Yeah.
I have a lower.
That's important.
It is. It's super important. I have a lower octave voice all in all. So I try and make, these electronic deep house tracks that are in the lower octave so I can sing on it. So I am not like doing anything too crazy. But, I always make sure that, if you know your technical aspects of things and you can kind of stay within the box, you can create something that sounds good.
Let's stay on that for a second, because one of the things that drew me to you is the fact I see, pounding on the drums as well. And I'm like, okay, so he's got electronic music, he does live performances, and he plays the drums. Now he's got my attention. And talk a little bit how you layer a live show. I mean, are you doing a lot of do you lay the drum beat down, you record that, and then you head over to the keys and to some other electronic,
Well,
equipment? What do you...
I don't want to give...
You don't have to give the secret sauce away, but can you just talk about building the sandwich a little bit?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll create a track, I'll make all the stems, and then when it comes to the live shows, I'll take out the individual sounds that I'll want to play live. So I have all my stuff memorized and all my sets memorized back to A to Z, or, I guess in time duration, 0 to an hour, because I'll practice it. But each individual song will have multiple, drums or pianos or stems taken out, and then live I'll switch. So you'll see me live, play drums, switch from my headphones to drum set to keys to singing my songs. So it's kind of I grew up loving puzzles. I love puzzles. I love putting things together. When you're programming music, it's a big puzzle. It's a big canvas. Ableton, Logic X, all these DAW music programs. You're pretty much creating a blank canvas, right, of music and sound within a track. And being able to take out those individual elements and bring them back in a live aspect, kind of what makes it live electronic, because you're playing live with your electronics. You're singing with the songs that you make, and you're essentially you're showcasing your talent. And I feel like if you can, there's a difference between being like a DJ and playing somebody else's songs and like being a wedding DJ. You're being told necessarily what to play and top 40 hits, and being a disc jockey is literally in the title. Being a producer and a composer is taking the sounds that you make and you create and chop and screwing them up where you want them to sound a certain way, and where it relays like your messages and your stories behind your music. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Not that DJing isn't storytelling, but
I think there's different layers of it. There's the wedding DJ that like you have to play the songs that the bride and typically her and her family pick out primarily, and then of course the groom. But then there's the DJ who's out there doing the club scene. They are kind of like taking a song from its mass-produced, commercial version, stripping it down and adding layers, which is cool. And then there's what you're talking about, which is a different genre. It's still like that electronic feel, right, but you're building layers and puzzle pieces, and you're removing puzzle pieces intentionally live so you can play them live. I think that's beautiful, and you explained it really well without totally giving everything away. I'm excited to hopefully get to see you. I think the closest show that you're doing to home for me here in Buffalo is Erie, Pennsylvania, coming up in the spring. Is that true?
Yeah, the tour actually starts next week on the 12th.
So we're recording this in early April. If anyone's tuning in, this is going to come out probably several months later since we have so many already lined up. So awesome. How long does the tour go? If someone's listening in June, is it still going on?
Well, no, this is only a week run. So it'll just be the 12th, the 14th, and 15th. I'm going to hit Michigan, New York City, and Erie. So you're correct. The last show is in Erie. So I'm going to give you a little bit of inside scoop here with the new album. I am going to be doing a Buffalo show. I haven't played in Buffalo, and it's going to go on 2-3 years now. I headlined at 9th Ward. I love kind of taking over the basement and throwing awesome parties down there. And but what I'll do moving forward is with the next album and tour, I'll definitely put Buffalo on the route, and that'll be the kind of CD release. I'll give you kind of a secret too. I'll be announcing my next headlining tour in August. So I got my headlining tour in April coming up next week, and then I got my next headlining tour coming up in August. So people can catch me Chicago area around August, and then I'm also going to be doing a secret cameo appearance at the Freelance Buffalo event. So.
And our listeners are going, wait a minute, I heard about that. Marie Rochelle was just on a couple of weeks ago talking about Freelance Buffalo and beyond. And that's another connection to Edalo here. Hey, give some love to Marie for a second.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely blessed to work together with Marie. I mean, she's an amazing individual, and she really does a great job for the freelance community with all her work she's doing for conversions, and she's the go-to freelance chick, I think. So
yeah, she does. She wears many, many hats, and she wears them very, very well. We're going to get to a quick break. We want to do that so we can get back into some of your backstory, some of a little bit more of the creative process as well. We're going to dive into that, guys. Quick timeout. We will be right back with Edalo. Podcasting is a great way to engage with your audience and stay consistently relevant. The only problem is you don't have the time or desire to produce your own show. You simply want it done for you, and that's where Social Chameleon comes in. All you need to do is press record and upload the files. We'll handle the rest. From planning, production, post-production, distribution, and digital marketing, we have you covered. We realize that times are tough and funds are tight, and Social Chameleon believes in building supportive business relationships. By clicking on the link in this promo, we'll provide you 7 free podcasting tips to get started, as well as a free 30-minute online consultation. This is the perfect opportunity for entrepreneurs, keynote speakers, industry experts, influencers, and anybody who has a personal brand. With Social Chameleon,
We help you build a brand that is out of this world. We're ready and waiting, so what are you waiting for? Click on the link to get started today.
Hey guys, it's Mike. I'd like to give a proper shout out to Navigator Bookkeeping. Look, for a long time, I ran my business without really understanding the full financial picture. I used my gut and my bank account balance to make decisions, which led to some poor choices and constant stress over my business's finances. I knew something needed to change. At the beginning of 2021, I made a decision that helped pave a more clear path for my business. I started working with Navigator Bookkeeping. Since then, my bookkeeping has been handled for me. I now understand the full financial story of my business, making important financial decisions much easier now, and it helps me plan for where my business is going. I highly recommend giving Navigator Bookkeeping an opportunity to help your business. Check them out at navigatingyourbooks.com. Again, that's navigatingyourbooks.com. It's time to know the full financial story of your business. All right, we're back in action with Edalo. A reminder that you guys can connect with him on social media as well as his website. All of those links are clickable in the show notes. I want to get into a little bit of your backstory. Talk about the inspiration into the pop, electronic, instrumental, and sampling music. Where did that come from? Where did you learn all that style, and where did you get your influence from?
Oh man, I think it really came down to, listening to the early Owl City, Swimming with Dolphins type, just those electronic acts that nobody really knows of, and sitting there with my pen and my old monster iMac and singing into my computer. When I was little, I learned how to play drums, and that was like my first instrument. So being a drummer, I kind of had to piece together that I had to do more than just drum. And that's kind of when I learned from my influences, being as like the Beatles and just these rock legends that just, how am I as this little kid, gonna do something with my life?
Literally orchestrate a complete piece of music.
Right.
Simply being a drummer, it's fantastic, but you need the other layers.
It went from playing the drums to playing keys to learning the basic, knowledge to programming computer, and I think when it comes down to your own software, I'm a nerd in the sense where I literally have dedicated, 10 plus years into my programs, and just people not really understanding what my vision was to, 10 years later, oh, I think we understand what you're doing now. And I think it's the process of just sticking to the things that you love. I love the drums. I love the piano. I just always wanted to be better at those things. So it's just sharpening your tools, really, is what
it's been a love for you, though, for a long time. It's not like
yes. When I'm not on the road and I'm not constantly traveling or capturing content, I'm creating, capturing sounds. My I know I'm kind of drifting off topic here, but I think it really comes down to the samples that you create yourself too, because if you have the right amount of gear, you can really capture and like help out a lot of people. So
well, I love it, man. I just wanted to say, like, the thing that I took from you there is that this has been a love for you, a passion of yours for a long time. And your family in the beginning was kind of like, oh, let's see what he's up to. And now it's like 10 years later, people are turning their head like, oh, he was serious when he said this is his dream. He's doing it, And I think that's encouraging for anyone in our audience. Doesn't matter what your outlet is and what the thing is that is your calling to do in life, your purpose, I call it. Go and do that and realize, you don't need people turning their heads right now when you start, or even after 10 years. It's like you're doing what you're doing, and those that get it will appreciate it at all stages of your journey. And now it's like after 10 years, you're really way past coming into your own. Now you're adding different textures, new albums, producing the full thing top to bottom, doing live shows where you're playing it top to bottom as rehearsed and playing it. And I don't want to overlook this. Earlier, you made a statement about trying to play it correctly or giving it, doing it justice to the recorded version. Because a lot of times you go see a band or an act and it's like you love their song and then you go listen to it and they kind of bastardize it because it's like they've played it 100 cities in a row and they're like, we got to do it different to make it fun for us. Well, guess what? Your fans want to actually hear it, how it sounds on the MP3 or the record. I still call everything a record. But yeah, like when you listen to the music, it's important and you actually execute it really well. And it sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Another cool opportunity, Mr. Collaborator that you are, you wrote and you produced a tribute album. This is a really cool opportunity with Ray Charles' grandson, Robert Robinson.
Yes,
he's known as RobTwyce, right?
RobTwyce, yes. Well, my family lives in California, and they were kind of like my long-lost family. Long story short, I went to go visit them, and I was in my uncle's jacuzzi, and this guy came up to me. I had no idea who he was, and he was like, "Hey, man, I want to hear you play keys." And I was like, "I don't know, man. Like, I'm just kind of relaxing right now. Maybe some other time." And he was like, "No, man. Like, I really want to hear you play." So I get out of the jacuzzi, and I'm like wrapped around in a towel, and I go over to like my MIDI board at the time, and I just like played something real fast. And he was like, "Oh man, like you remind me of, someone in my family." And he shows me like this picture, and he's like, "Oh, this is me." And it was like a picture of him, Ray Charles, Willie Nelson, Quincy Jones. And then he just was like, "Yeah, like Ray's my grandfather, we should work together." And I just was like,
sure.
"What?" Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, of course, obviously that's kind of like, personal experiences that, I, being included to, work together with them. The one life-changing moment I had was I went to church with them in, California, and I was accepted by, their family, and they were like, "Hey, this young man came all the way from New Jersey," even though I'm from Buffalo. Yeah, and
they were close. They were only like 8 hours off on the map, but that's okay.
Yeah, so they were like, "This young man came to work with Rob on this tribute," and everyone from the church got up and started kissing me and hugging me, and the warm embrace that I felt from the Ray Charles family literally was the most incredible feeling in my life. It's a feeling that I'm never going to forget. And honestly, it's changed my life for the better. Rob is a close family friend. He had relations with my cousin Charlie. So, it's a lot of family interrelations. These are always close family friends of mine, people who I have a lot of love for, people who, I moved to Los Angeles to help him. I moved there with $300 with 2-pack bags. I had nothing. And I did it out of the goodness of my heart to help Rob create music. And my whole laptop to this day is filled with all his writings, all of the collab tribute songs that we created, all of the secret words. And honestly, to this day, a lot of it is not even released. We didn't, it was the partnership between Rob and I. And a lot of it was just the love and the friendship that we had that really, I got to experience. And, for me, it wasn't $1 million deal or, being famous. It was creating with, someone who Rob is an insanely talented writer and vocalist, and just to be able to go to the Ray Charles Foundation and to see Ray Charles's piano for me was life-changing. So to bring that knowledge back to Buffalo, that is a key thing that I think, I don't really talk on. I'm not really a fat cat, but that's something that is part of who I am in my journey. You know, I didn't really get a lot of funding. I didn't have, a deal. It was just me with my backpack going out there, and I really give it to the glory of God. Because if it wasn't for prayer and just going out on a limb, I wouldn't have been able to indulge into that. So being able to learn and to grow and to be a better person because of those experiences, I try and put that into the music.
Wow, man, that's one of my really beautifully said, and that I didn't know that about your story. I knew about the Ray Charles connection, but I didn't know that you went out there on $300 and that you guys collaborated as much as you did. And I just want to encourage you, back up all those tracks, whatever you have there on your computer. Obviously, back it all up. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you have.
I still have it. It's in a secret vault.
I love it, man. As it deserves to be. I want to say this about what you were just riffing on there for a second. The show is about inspiring people to be brave and bold in pursuit of their dreams. It's also to help people learn things from the different guests on the show, like yourself, and take different elements of it. And not everybody's a musician, so they could take different parts of your story and apply it to themselves. And I want people to go back and listen to that again if you didn't catch everything that he said there. But, taking a chance on yourself, on your dream, but also to help a friend. You went out there. It wasn't a selfish act. I'm not going out there to do anything but help a friend. And it created a beautiful friendship and some awesome opportunities with their family that you had no idea were going to come. I mean, you were just taken aback by them embracing you. And now you have most likely a lifetime friendship there, which is incredible.
Exactly.
And now you could take it, you can learn, and now you could do that for someone else at some point in your life, kind of like the return phase of it. I know we're running out of time. We only literally have like one more minute, which is unfortunate. You're incredible.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, sir. I want you to know this, Edalo. I love interviewing people all the time, meeting them, different walks of life, different places on the planet and in different professions. But the best part of doing the show is when I see someone who's, at the end of the day, they're a great person. They're a great human being, and they really resonate. And they're someone who I'm proud to give the spotlight to, like yourself. That's when I get giddy. I get like a little kid. I feel like we just created music together, that special feeling. So this was a pleasure for me.
Thank you, Mike.
You have a friend over here, brother, and I look forward to seeing you in person.
Yeah, that goes both ways.
Maybe we can collaborate on music as well. But this was fantastic. Congrats on the tour.
Thank you so much.
The new album and all your new music coming out in the near future, guys. EdaloMusic.com. Anything else you want to say real quick?
Hey, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on the show. And to anyone listening, can't wait to meet you in person.
And two things. Be great and be grateful. Thank you so much, Edalo. I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone for tuning in, especially those who listen all the way to the end to hear this message. Seriously, I appreciate you, and my guests do as well. Giving a quick reminder to subscribe to this show. It's completely free and will allow you to receive notifications when new episodes are released. If you'd like to provide a tip as a gift, you can do so via patreon.com/MikeDup. It's spelled MIKED up. Patreon.com/MikeDup. You can give as little as $1 per month or as much as you'd like. Every dollar is greatly appreciated and completely unexpected. Appreciate your reviews and your messages coming in on social as well. Keep them coming. Your feedback is valuable and absolutely means the world to me. You can check out more episodes and content at mikeduppodcast.com. We're powered by Social Chameleon. You can also follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active, and it's at Mike DiCioccio, MikeDiCioccio. Thank you so much for your continued support. You guys know what to do. Be great and be grateful.